All right, what's up, y'all? It's Producer Whisper again. Check this out. Okay, so if you guys checked out the last video, I'm expecting you guys to have pretty much know the steps that you need to take in order to get to the place where you guys are ready to pitch music. Sorry, I was in the dark, man. I had the camera in the wrong place. I'm driving. Always doing something, man. Going to an event tonight, going to network, trying to get you guys some more placement opportunities. But anyway, I digress. So if you guys watched the first video, then you guys know, pretty much how you're supposed to set the music up. You know how to do your research as far as like who needs the kind of music that you specialize in. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna go through all that. You guys go check out the first video, so you know all this. So this is a continuation. So now you guys are ready, right? You ready to start pitching your music, and you may feel like you've gotten all of the hard stuff out of the way. You did all the research and stuff, right? You put all that work in, and now you're ready to go. Well, I'm here to tell you, now comes the hard part. Now comes the part where you're gonna have to really exercise some skills that you may not be used to exercising. And I was that same way, one of which is patience. I'm a very, very impatient person. Once I figured out the stuff that I needed to do to start getting placements, structuring my beats and this and that, I was fully expecting that every time I sent music out, it was going to be a success. I was going to win because I was doing what I was supposed to do. But that's not the case. There's a whole lot of factors that determine whether you're going to land that placement or not, or make that connection. And so you have to go into it with a mindset realizing that this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So you could send music out, not hear anything back from the company, accepting you like ever. So what do you do? So this is a video we're going to talk about those situations. Like, really, this video is about keeping your head in the game, because there's going to be a lot of stuff along your journey that's going to make you, or possibly discourage you, or, just make you feel like things aren't going the way that you want them to go, maybe kind of divert you into another direction. And we're going to talk about making sure that doesn't happen. I always like to tell you guys stuff in like the context of how I would do it, or in my experience, because I can't speak for everybody else, but I have my own particular journey. So there was a whole lot of things that happened, so I'm just sharing it with you. So one thing that helped for me, because I did have an issue with self-confidence, even though I knew how to make music, I didn't realize I was as good as I was or whatever. And one of the things that plagued me was simply not putting the right people around me. I had what I considered friends at the time, but to be honest with you, these people weren't very supportive of my goals or what I was trying to do or anything. I got a little lotion on my face looking shiny. They weren't bad people or anything like that, but the thing is that, or I should say, once I decided to get compensated for my music, it's business at that point. And so, you kind of want to have this social aspect where you still have your friends around, and you might even want to make some money with them, do business with them, whatever. But the thing of it is that it is business. So your first priority is to make sure that your business is handled correctly. And sometimes that, entails you not being around certain people that aren't on the same page or aren't going down the same path as you, and I'm putting that lightly. Sometimes you're going to have to get rid of some people. Sometimes you're going to have to make room, get rid of the people that are conducive to your plan and make room for the people that are, right? But it takes you recognizing this. It takes you recognizing the fact that, okay, I do have a particular goal. I'm trying to reach a particular place in life, and I'm going to need help doing that. That's one thing about this hustling to the top. We can't do it alone. We wish we could at times, but we can't. So you're going to have your head in the game. You're going to have networking skills. You're going to have to be pleasant, demeanor. You're going to have to be that person that people want to work with, a good communicator, so on and so forth. These are things that I had to work on. I had all kind of issues, man. I had issues with eye contact and my posture, like all kind of things. Everything that would signal a person that I wasn't confident, I had issues with. So, but I was confident deep down inside. So I just worked on these things over time. Like I'm looking at YouTube videos and listening to self-help books and audio books and all of these things that that I did in order to improve myself to be able to function in this space that I'm jumping into, right? Because like, let's face it, this isn't something you can just go to school, get a degree, and then next thing you know, boom, you're success. Like, there's a large element of hustling to the top. Okay, slow down, buddy. There's a large element of hustling to the top, you know, in this. And so if you're not used to doing that, you know, if you're a person that's used to a more structured lifestyle, 9 to 5 cubicle, you get off work is over, this and that, family and this and that, then networking, reaching out to music libraries, that kind of thing might not be something that you're used to. Even connecting with the public and collaborating and networking and that kind of thing, you might not be used to doing that thing. So when these things don't work out the way that you want them to work out, they can take you off of your square. You know, they can make you question what you're even doing, your abilities, or, you know, a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need to be questioning. So number one, determine what it is you're trying to do as far as your goals. And because you're doing it yourself, you got to lay out your own steps. It's not like your goal is to get a bachelor's degree and the university lays out the steps. These are the classes you got to take in the curriculum. You got to lay out your own curriculum. Okay, so this is my end goal. I want to get, you know, 100 placements in a year, or I want to at least, you know, get accepted by 10 music libraries or whatever it is. You look at that goal and then you sit down, you deduce, how am I going to get there, you know, with the least amount of crap? Since you know you can't do it by yourself, you know, you work on yourself. If you don't have those skills, those networking skills or whatever, you work on yourself and you make sure you have the right people around you. I had people around me that were not only not encouraging, but they were discouraging. The first time that happened, if I'm somebody that had an actual goal that needed to be met, and I had certain things and certain steps that I needed to do in order to make that happen, then that person wouldn't have been around in the first place. Not because I'm on some hateful or, you know, quick to kick people out of my life, but it's like anything. Like when you got a goal, you're trying to get to that goal, you got the football in your hand, you're trying to dodge all the tackles. You're not trying to get tackled and then get up and this and that. And sometimes that's what your friends and family will do to you, man. Especially when you are pursuing this music thing. So here's a little tidbit I got for you that I learned the hard way. And keep in mind, I moved out here to LA when I was 37 years old. So to say that I had some resistance from family and friends was an understatement. You know, there was only really one person that was like, no matter what, go get it. And that was my cousin Roger. Shout out to my cousin Roger. Roger's always been the one to tell me, keep reaching for the stars. And so that's what I did. But it was very difficult, you know, when you have people that you feel like, okay, now I'm finna make this big step. I'm getting ready to make this big step in my life, take this chance on myself. These are the very people, the ones that are closest to you, that you feel like are gonna be supportive of you. But they're not. They're usually not. It's not like they're hating on you or nothing like that, but everybody else always has a different idea of what they feel like you should be doing, right? And if you're not doing that, especially if you're doing something that's like non-conventional, like pursuing your music dreams or whatever, then it's not as easy for them to get on board. Because, I mean, let's face it, you guys, I've said it before, but you guys chose the hardest route. The hardest route in life, you know, pursuing your dreams this way. I'm going to do music, or I'm going to dance, or I'm going to be a filmmaker. I'm going to be that's the most difficult. It's the most rewarding because you're doing what you love, you know, and you're pursuing it out of love for it. But it definitely is the most difficult route. You know, you see my gray hairs, man. I was talking to my girl the other day. I'm like, man, I remember when I was younger, I had a chance to join the military. Now, when I was like 16, 17 or whatever, they had this thing called selective service, where if crap goes down, they could come get you for the military or whatever. And you had to sign up for it. So I signed up for it. I think when you're 18, you got to sign up for it or whatever. But at that point, this is when, I don't know if they still have it, but they would have like military recruiters come to the school and try to, like, you know, get you to sign up or whatever. I almost did that, right? You know, but I had this like anti-political thing back then, like I do now kind of. And so I steered away from it. But then I was talking to my girl like probably a couple months ago, and I was like, man, if I had joined the military when I was 19 and did my 20 years, because I know people, I got friends now that are retired and they're like in their 40s and they're done. all they do is like drive RVs and go boat on the lake and go fishing and stuff like that. So they made some decisions that were, at the time, I felt like would have been crazy. Oh, you joining the military? But like now, they're not even 50 years old and they're done already. You guys know people like that. You probably got people in your family like that. So the reason I say that is that there are decisions that you could have made to make your life a lot easier, but you wouldn't have been happy. Continue to take a chance on yourself with this music, but don't get it twisted, man. Y'all took the hardest route. Knowing that, know you're not gonna get the support. They're not gonna support you. Your support, let me tell you what happened with me. My support didn't come until I started getting these placements. Now keep in mind, it was quiet, it was crickets. Nobody was really talking to me about music or whatever. You know, when I talked to family and friends, it'd be about other stuff. Nobody really asked me about the music because like people, you know, they knew I was good at it, but they weren't, you know, they didn't understand any part of me leaving town and going to pursue it or nothing like that. And I get that. I didn't get it then. It hurt me back then, but I understand it now. That's why I'm telling you, I understand it now. Wisdom is a crazy thing. It's my path to walk. Just like what you guys decided to do what you're doing, it is your path to walk, meaning that you are the person, and like-minded people are the ones that are meant to understand it. They're not meant to understand it. So, I mean, case in point, man, you guys got a bunch of family and friends right now. You guys post on Instagram and post on, you know, YouTube and whatever social media you guys rock with. How many of your family and friends actually repost your stuff? And I'm not talking about liking, even liking. You know, likes are important too. Likes are currency these days, but you might get likes sometimes, but I'm talking about really support, because, you know, liking and reposting something doesn't cost anything and it only takes a couple seconds to do. So how many of your family and friends are out there doing that for your posts? Not many, huh? Now, I'm not saying that because I want you guys to feel a type of way about it, because there's no way to feel about it. It's just, you would expect, well, it only takes a minute and this and that, or whatever, this and that. Like I said, you chose the hardest route. People aren't gonna understand what you're doing. You gotta show and prove. I don't know why that is, you know, because I have a bunch of friends and I'm always reposting crap and, you know, especially on Facebook and supporting, and I just, you know, I like everybody's stuff, whether I like the content, believe in it, or whatever it is. If they're posting something they're trying to do, I see they're trying to do it, I'm gonna hit like, just because I know likes are currency. I might not even stay there and look at the post, but if I know them, I see them moving, I hit like. But then again, like I said, I'm in this community where I understand what it's like to have to hustle to the top like this. It's a mental game. And there are gonna be times where you're gonna feel like, damn, this is not moving fast enough, or I'm not getting enough support, or, you know, and it might not even be family or friends. It might be the person you with. It might be your boyfriend or girlfriend, significant other, husband, wife, something like that, that just don't get it. You know, I've had friends who had girlfriends that were like, you know, you need to sell this equipment and stuff like that, right? I would never deal with nothing like that. I'm saying, you guys out there, there's no telling what your situation is. You're facing a lot of pressures. So as you guys are going down this sync licensing rabbit hole, just know that it's a marathon. It more than likely isn't going to happen quickly for you. And I don't want you to be discouraged by that. I want you to just stay in the game, because as I keep preaching, there's always more sync opportunities on the horizon. There's always more stuff to learn. There's just always more chances for you to get in the game with your music. So I don't ever want you to be discouraged by it, but it is going to take some time. You guys already know how to do the research. You guys already know how to set up your music. You guys already know how to set up your emails and contact people. Now I want you to realize that it's going to take some time, and I want you to stay in there and keep following up until, you know, you reach success, until you get a placement. Now let's talk about following up. First of all, a lot of you guys that submit to Smash Coast, I might get a DM from you or a message in a post saying, hey, I submitted something to you guys, but I never heard back from you. Just so you guys are clear, not just with Smash Coast, with any company. If you submit to that company and they don't accept you, you're never going to hear from them. Nobody has the manpower or the bandwidth to contact all of the people that they reject. So after you've made your list of music libraries or whoever you're contacting, right? Once you send your music out, if you haven't heard from them in, I'd say 6 weeks, I'd give them 6 weeks. And you guys can battle me in the comments. I know some people would advise different time from that, but like just me, I'd do about 6 weeks, because keep in mind, like, you're gonna be sending a link out to a bunch of libraries if you're hustling correctly. So you don't want to, inundate yourself with too much work or be confused when you've hit 30, 40, 50 libraries. You want to give yourself some time, to let that soak and marinate, and then you send another playlist. Never communicate with anybody without sending music. Your music is your currency. Your music is your business card. Your music is the reason why you're even talking to anybody. Don't send an email saying I sent an email, or is it okay if I send you don't do any of that. Anytime you communicate with somebody, very short paragraph, salutation, very short paragraph, get to the meat of the sandwich and put a link in there. You can use your own discretion as far as the link. You can put, I've been asked, should I send the link that I sent last time? I don't know, because it might have got rejected. So I would probably send a link to the last submission and another link to the new submission, and then put a one-liner in saying, I'm not sure if you heard the last submission or if it was rejected, but I resubmitted it, and here's a new one with some different stuff for your enjoyment, just to cover all bases. But I'd make the talking part, the writing part, as short as possible, and get to those links, and make sure that they're disco links so they can just click in there, see all the information, get to it quickly. You don't want them to follow a bunch of steps to get to your music. And then just keep going and keep going and keep going. Don't worry about nobody supporting you. Going back to what I was saying before, when I started getting placements, all that changed up. All of that funny, why'd you go to California stuff changed up. And as it should, because I put that work in and I did something incredible. I started getting my music on television. That's another thing I want you guys to realize. What you're doing is very incredible and very, very difficult to do. Okay? It's totally doable, and I have confidence in each and every one of you to get it done. I think that it's probable more than possible. But make no mistake, it's very, very difficult. It's not any less difficult than if you wanted to go put your physical self on television. If you wanted to go be an extra and you had to move out here to California and, join the little company that, I forget the name of it, that you got to join to get hired as an extra or whatever, and then end up on camera on something popular and be seen, that's hard as hell, man. It's hard is difficult as hell. That's why people make a big deal out of it, even if they're not an actor. Did you see that person in the background? That was me. That person that fell down or walked by in that intersection or whatever, they're gonna freeze that piece of video and make posters of it and all kind of stuff, because they proud of that moment of them just even being included in something like that, let alone to have a speaking part, a role or anything like that. So I want you guys to feel the same way about your music. It's a big deal to have your music a part of a television show. It just is. I'm sorry, I'm driving still. But it's just a big deal. They spend millions and millions of dollars on these shows. And so just being included in it is a big deal. So I want you to have that mindset about it. I don't ever want you to take it lightly. And I know people that have been in the game for a long time, they've gotten tons of placements, and it's like, it's work, and this client wants this, and then, it's like anything. It's all dope in the beginning, but, once you get used to it, you get used to it. So I know people that are used to sync, they're successful in it, and they have those moments where they're just like, I don't feel like doing this, or the client, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm still just excited about it as the first time I heard my music on television. I remember those first days, it was so cool because I would recognize my beats on everything. And then my friends would too, the people that I had around me, is that your beat on such and such or whatever? And I was hearing them so much, it was just dope, but what I didn't realize is that, people started looking at me different, because I'm just like, cool, my beats on TV, but people are like, hey man, it gave me a little bit more weight, a little bit more juice than I realized it did, because it's a big deal. I'm still very proud of what we do as a company. It's just a big deal to me to be able to do it. So don't think that it's easy just because you see people doing it. It's not, but I don't want you to be discouraged. You guys are gonna get in there. Just stay in there, man. Just stay in there. Get the right people around you. If I were you, I would stay in this community You know, keep listening to people like me. Start networking with people that have gotten placements before. You know, you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't mind telling you the game, like helping you out, whatever. So gravitate towards those people. A lot of people are going to just automatically trying to sell you something. Oh yeah, well, you can buy my course or my whatever. You know, if that's the case, you want to do that, that's cool. Just make sure that these people are accredited. You know, they do have a bunch of placements, the type of placements that you're trying to get. You know, that's important. You got to see if the people are successful in the area that you want to be successful in. You know, if you're trying to pay them for some game. That's another lesson I had to learn the hard way. So I'm about where I'm going right now. But I just wanted to make sure you guys knew the game for real and knew that it was going to be, it's going to take some mental toughness. If you're anything like I was, I struggled with confidence back in the day. I just had issues, man. I might talk about that one day with you guys, but I came through a lot of crap, you know, just in life to get to where I am now. Not that you guys didn't, because I'm sure you have, but everybody's story is unique. So maybe one day I'll share it with you just because I think it'll be inspirational, but also to let you know that if you are going through something right now, you're going to get through it. You don't got to worry. Just stay tough, stay strong, and stay focused on this goal. And we're going to help you get there. We're going to help you get these placements, help you have success with your music. So as I'm parking the ride, that's what's, oh, shoot, speed bumps, man. Gonna have a good night tonight, man. I'm going to tell you about this event in the next video. That's what's up. I'm the Producer Whisperer. Peace.